It's a good team from my side, to be honest. When we analyzed the first 4 games, they played only 4 games now. They had chances to get more points, also to score in a lot of good moments, in a lot of good situations. So we have to be ready with our energy level, with our intensity. First of all, on the road, it's tough to play there. We had this experience last year in New England on turf. So we have to be ready for this game and not to think too much about the games before, and more focused to have these moments when it's kickoff on 2:30 on Saturday.
Thanks for that, Anthony. Coach, you mentioned the turf, and it is an issue, especially in New England. How do you prepare the team differently, knowing that the ball bounces differently or tactically?
Yeah, but we don't practice the whole week now on turf, so we use our trainings field on grass. That's our preparation, and for sure we can talk about that before the game. But I think then it's necessary in warm up that we have a good warm up to also to get a feeling for this field on turf. That's important, and then we have to do everything when it's kickoff and to play very clean and to read the situation very well, and this is what we have to do.
Go back to Anthony. So, Coach, last year around this time, Emil Forsberg went on international duty, got injured, and missed a significant amount of time. You have him now. We saw how important that was in the last game. How important is it to keep those designated players on the field for the club for as long as possible?
Yeah, for every club is important that you don't have so many injuries, and it's not only the DP players, and it's all the whole roster, all these players, and it's necessary, especially for this long season, to handle the load of all these guys, and that is, especially at the beginning of our season, now was a little bit difficult for us because we had some issues with some injuries. But now some players are coming back. It's not directly the option for the starting lineup, but it's good to see the guys on the bench, to have these options. And but Emil is very, very important for us. But on the other side, we have also to check and to handle his individual load as well.
Go back to Mark.
Coach, you talked about players returning from national team duty and their health. Carlos, Dennis, everyone's good and ready to go?
Yeah, all the guys, they were today on our field in our team training session. Carlos was on the field. Dennis, he made a little bit individual program. It was modified training today for him, but no issues from the national team. And he's also be ready then for Saturday.
And we'll go back to Anthony. So now you're entering week 6 here, Coach. 2-2-1. How happy are you with how your team has started the season? How they've taken to some of the new tactics?
Yeah, it's not a new tactic. At the end, it's the same principles like we wanted to play also last season, and it's a similar style of play with our intensity. What is a little bit different, that's true, is the ball possession situation with higher numbers. But I was also satisfied last home game against Toronto. But on the other side, we analyzed as well situations what we have to improve. And but this is now it's okay start. Now we have 8 points after 5 games, but we don't want to look back. So our focus is now for the next opponent, for the next target. This is on Saturday against a good team in New England with their quality.
Go ahead, Mark.
I want to go back to the Toronto game for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this question was asked of you.
Okay.
Emil Forsberg is getting ready to take the penalty.
Yeah.
And suddenly the goal music is played throughout the arena. It just lasts a second or two. It's not great timing. Obviously, Forsberg converts and we go. But I was curious of your thoughts of that moment.
Yeah, but that's life. Mistakes can happen, but it was not the best moment, to be honest. And when I heard this music, it was also not for me a good feeling. And I was thinking, hopefully we can hear this music, 30 seconds later as well.
Right.
But mistakes can happen, and so. But he kept his concentration and his focus, and this was very important for us. And then he scored.
Thank you.
We'll go to Zoom to George. Sorry, George, you're on mute.
Sorry, Coach, sorry about that. Briefly, they mentioned the turf before. Dealing with the injuries that you're dealing with and having the guys hurt, is there any part in the back of your mind that you might have to pull back with some guys who may be fatigued or anything like that going to play on this turf?
Yeah, could be. It is in our mind that we have to be careful. Not only the turf, also our load. Then national play with some national players the last 10 days. So everything is in our mind, and but the solution for our starting lineup will be at the end and on Saturday. But we have this in our mind, all these circumstances. Yeah.
Next, we go to Shane O'Brien.
Hey, Coach. Victor Bogac was on the bench last week. Is he in line for minutes this week after coming back from injury? And how important could he be for adding strength and depth up top?
Yeah. Every training week is important for these players when they are coming back after injury, and now also 1 week more in his legs. Victor Bogac, it's important for us, and he will be ready for Saturday. I'm not sure if he's directly ready in the starting lineup, but could be then coming from the bench for sure with some minutes. Yeah.
Next, we go to Daniel Florenzi.
Good afternoon, Sandro. Hope you're doing well today. So far, Omar Valencia, though he did not see any time for Panama in the Nations League. Have you been happy with his first 2 matches and what he's done in training so far?
Yeah, I'm very happy. Not only for the first 2 matches in our season, also to see him in this progress in his development. And after the 6-week preseason, he made big steps. What I said at the beginning of the season, and now he's coming back. He came back yesterday from the national team. He didn't play, and this is then also what we have to take the decision for Saturday, which wingback on the side is playing. Today was also not the highest load in our team training session. Tomorrow is then our pre-match training, and then we will see if he's ready, starting lineup, or then to sit on the bench.
Next, we go to Christian Ortiz.
Hi, good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
It appears that Cal Duncan is back training with the team. Just wanted to ask you if he would be available for this Saturday. And then also an update on Marcelo Morales, who was also seen in training. How many, perhaps, weeks are left before we see him in action? Thank you.
Yeah, with Kyle, it's great. It's great to see him back in our team training session with the guys and on the field in every exercises. And it was a little bit modified in some sessions in this week. And but he worked so hard the last 6.5 months with his injury. He was so hard with the whole medical department, and this was very professional, very serious. And sometimes when I came in at 7:15, he started his day individual at 6:45, 6:30. Very, very professional, and it's good now to see him every day on the field. And he's available, but at the end, after 6.5 months, this is then also, I'm not sure, to be honest, that's then good to have the first game on turf after this long-term injury. And this is what I said then, the question before, everything is in our mind, and we have to be careful then also with these situations. And Marcelo Morales, he made more individual program this week, and he was also now for long term out, and he had also some issues last season at the end of the season in his previous club. So we have to, I think it needs a little bit patience to see him then on the field, but it's good. Next week, next Tuesday, he starts the full team training session, and then hopefully then as quick as possible to see him then on match day on the field.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions with Coach. First, go to Gary.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
8 points after 5 games. So now you're going to game number 6. You had a lot of injuries going in there. They had a tough slog. How much of a relief it is that now some of these players are now coming back online, getting back into health status, and more importantly, how much of your pride that you have on the current team that was able to get these supports during a very rough without them.
Yeah, it's great. It's great how we handled all together these situations, especially at the beginning of the season, and then with all these injuries. But in all the games which we played, in all 5 games which we played, so it was from the performance side, from the quality side, was most of the time was very well. We had some phases in the game which was not so good, and but when I see the big picture in these 5 games, 8 points, it's the result from the points is okay. That's good. I would say it's okay. And but on the other side, this is our job then also with our analysts to analyze everything in all the phases, and we see very, very good things in our game, in our intensity, in our defense behavior. When we press high, we have a lot of winning balls in the opponent's half. That's good. Sometimes when we don't have the highest pressure on the ball, then our back 3, back 5 the behavior could be then better sometimes in the moments. This is what we analyze, but it's good. And now we have to continue our way, our style of play, especially now the next month, April, 5 games, and this is then when we are, and this is my job to think about the long-term period. And when we are talking about the month May, could be 9 games, 8 games for sure. And for these months, we have to be ready. We need everyone in our roster, because then it's clear that we have then more rotation than in our starting lineup and also in our roster for the game.
Sean, how would you take a measure of how the team is after 5 games, 8 points, good record at home on the defense? What do you think so far?
Yeah, I think we're feeling good, but we know we could improve. We know we could do more, and I think as the season goes along, we want to grow both individually and as a team. And I think over the first couple of games we have done that, but I think we've left some points out there. But we're going to learn from that. We're going to get better, and we have a good test on Saturday up in New England.
Thanks, go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, Sean. Help us understand a little bit. Different players say different things about playing on turf. What's your view on how your game changes? Does it change at all when you go up to a place like New England?
Yeah, I think some guys that aren't used to the turf, it may take a little bit to adjust. But in college, I played my home games on turf back at Hofstra, and then my first year here playing with Red Bull 2, we played at Montclair, so I'm kind of used to it. I prefer grass, but it doesn't really make a difference to me. I think you have to go out and play to the best of your ability, and not really think about the outside forces, and it's always windy up there, but not think about that. So you just gotta have to play to the best of your ability and just focus on that.
Yeah. So looking at New England specifically, they're a team that's desperate for a goal right now. They haven't scored one from their own team. How do you react to knowing that a team is desperate for something like that, as from a defender standpoint?
Yeah, I think we have to go up there motivated with a lot of energy. We can't kind of expect that we're gonna, play well or win. We have to go out and do it, go out and earn it. I think looking back to last year when we went up there, they were kind of in the same boat, struggling a little bit, and then they ended up beating us up there, and it was a deflating blow for us. So we have to kind of go up there and go earn it, go all together, and showcase our talent.
Go to Mark.
Sean, the team has been playing in Foxborough for 30 years now. They've won only 8 games in nearly 45 tries. What is so challenging? You've been up there a number of times now. You did have a win up there, but I'm just kind of curious, what is it about Gillette Stadium that is so challenging?
Yeah, I think just maybe you don't really adjust to the turf, the wind, the size of the stadium. You kind of trying to get your feet set, and then all of a sudden you're losing momentum in the game. And I think we have to go out, have a great start, and then kind of build our momentum slowly but surely throughout the game, and come back with 3 points. I think we want to be a little more dominant on the road going into these games. We've played well at home, but now we want to surplus that with being dominant on the road as well. So I think it starts on Saturday.
Go to Anthony.
Just to piggyback off that a little bit, the mythology of New England and the history of the team, is that something that you guys talk about internally? Is that something that comes up? Do players who are not from here reach out to be like, hey, so what's the deal from what I've heard about?
I think guys know what fields are turf. There's a select few throughout the league, but we went through the certain players on their team, and they have some talented guys. Carl Skill is always a threat against us, and we got to do our best to shut him down and shut down their other playmakers, because like that was said earlier, that they're going to be a hungry team. Caleb Porter is going to have them firing to go. We have to have a good start.
Next, we go to George on Zoom.
What's up? I just have a quick question. Speaking of the turf, I asked Sandro the same thing. Is there any part that is worrisome of, the injuries that you guys have, guys coming back from international break, and then having to deal with the turf first thing? Is there any part of you that is thinking we should be holding back a little bit just because of injuries and stuff like that?
No, I mean, injuries are always kind of unfortunate. It's part of the game. You do what you can to prehab and rehab after the games to kind of limit these things, limit muscle pulls. But those things happen. We want to go out and get the win, get 3 points, and that's our sole focus going into this week. And like what was said, New England, they're a talented team and they're hungry. So we'll see what they have, and I think we want to just go up there and come back with 3 points going into next week.
Next, go to Daniel Florenstein.
Hey, Sean, hope you're doing all right. What's it been like working with Alexander Hack on the back line? Has the communication been solid so far?
Yeah, it's been great. He talks a lot and he communicates a lot during that back line. He's played in big games over in Europe, so he knows how to control games and win these small moments. So he's a great addition to our back line, and I think as the games go on, we're only going to get stronger, or hope to get stronger as a back line and as a team.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions. Sean, first go to Daniel Reban.
How you doing, Sean? Just to piggyback off that last question, you've played the majority of the games this year with Hack and Noah Ella. Just talk about, your chemistry with them and how nice it's been just to play with, those two guys majority of the season instead of rotating like a bunch last year.
Yeah, I think as the games go on and we play together, practice together, our camaraderie grows, our chemistry grows. We kind of know when one person's going to step and one person's going to cover, and I think it was good in the last game. Obviously, there were some moments, especially on the goal, where we felt we could have done better to, have each other's backs. But I think that'll get better as the games go on, and I think Noah and Alex have been playing great so far, and I think we'll continue to grow and play well as a back line.
And we'll finish up with Christian Ortiz.
Hey, Sean. Just wanted to ask you any observations you made with your brother Dylan Nealis, who's been great so far last year, this year. Anything that you have mentioned to him to be prepared for this Saturday? And secondly, just has there been any conversations regarding Carvalho's red card last game? Something to keep in mind, to be careful with the refs for next game? Thank you.
Yeah. For the first part, I think, like you said, Dylan's been playing well. I think early on in preseason, he was kind of coming back from a little groin kind of injury, so it took him a little bit to get back up to shape. But I think as he's been in games, he's been dominant on the right side and real versatile. And I think in the second part, we talked about it in video with don't really talk back to the refs, and I think that's kind of a theme throughout the league. Don't talk back, just kind of play your game, focus on your game, and focus on the next play. And I think Felipe, he's done well with us. He scored 2 bangers last year in the playoffs, and him coming back into shape, he's played well coming into these games. So he's a big piece for us, important. So we'll miss him a little bit, but hope to have him back next week.